All right, let's dive into something that, let's be honest, affects every single one of us. We're talking about those powerful, compulsive urges, the ones that sometimes feel like they've completely taken over the driver's seat of our lives. Today, we're going to learn how to take back the wheel. You know that feeling, right? That incredibly frustrating battle inside your own head where one part of you knows what you should do, but this other force just hijacks everything and pushes you toward the very thing you're trying to avoid. So that's the big question, isn't it? Why does it feel like willpower just crumbles when a strong urge hits? Well, I've got good news. It's not because you're weak or lacking in character. It's all about brain chemistry, and we're about to break down exactly what's going on. To really get a handle on this, we've got to look under the hood at our brain's internal reward system. And that means we need to have a serious talk about one very powerful and, often misunderstood chemical. Say hello to dopamine. Now, everyone calls it the feel-good chemical, but a better way to think about it is as the do-it-again chemical. Its main job is to stamp a memory and tell your brain, hey, that was important for survival. You should definitely do that again. It's what motivates you to seek things out. And this chart really shows you the problem. Look, a good meal gives you a nice, natural dopamine bump. But then look at these modern inventions. The dopamine hit from something like internet pornography is not only off the charts, but it's sustained. When you flood your brain like that over and over, it starts to downregulate. It basically gets numb, and suddenly you need more and more just to feel okay. This is the perfect way to picture what's happening. Think of your prefrontal cortex as your brain's brakes. It's the logical part that thinks about long-term consequences. The reward center? That's the accelerator. All it wants is that immediate hit of pleasure. When you constantly overstimulate the accelerator, you're essentially wearing out your brakes. So when an urge hits, you've got a powerful accelerator and weak brakes. And you can guess who wins that fight. Okay, so if trying to overpower an urge with brute force is kind of like trying to stop a speeding car with worn-out brakes, what's the alternative? Well, what if instead of fighting the wave, you learned how to ride it? And this brings us to an amazing evidence-based technique called urge surfing. It's a total game changer. The idea is simple. Instead of wrestling with a craving, you just observe it. You treat it like an ocean wave, knowing that it's going to build up, hit a peak, and then, inevitably, it's going to fade away all on its own. And this right here, this is the key. An urge feels like a command. It feels like you have to do it, but it's not. It's just a bunch of sensations happening in your body. And once you realize you can just watch those sensations without acting on them, you discover the secret. The wave always, always passes. So, let's get practical. How do you actually do this when you're in the middle of a really intense craving? Let's break down the step-by-step strategy. This is your plan for the heat of the moment. Okay, here's the playbook. First, you just name it. Say to yourself, I'm noticing an urge to do X. Just saying that creates a little bit of space. Second, get out of your head and into your body. Where are you feeling it? Is it a tightness in your chest? A knot in your stomach? Just notice. Third, use your breath as an anchor. It's your surfboard. A slow, long exhale, like breathing out for 6 counts, is amazing for calming your nervous system down. And the most important part through all this, no judgment. Get curious, not critical. Finally, just visualize it as a wave. Watch it build, watch it crest, and trust that it's going to go down. And get this is the most empowering part. Studies show that if you can just sit with an urge and observe it, it'll usually peak and fade away on its own in about 20 to 30 minutes. That's it. When you know there's a finish line, that giant, scary wave suddenly seems a whole lot more manageable, doesn't it? So, urge surfing is your go-to tool for the moment. It's your short-term defense. But for lasting change, you have to play the long game. And that means actively rewiring your brain by building a life that's genuinely rewarding. The goal is to replace those cheap, unhealthy dopamine hits with sustainable, healthy sources. This isn't just about distracting yourself. It's about feeding your brain what it actually craves, a sense of progress, connection, and mastery in ways that build you up. We're talking about things like exercise, learning a new skill, creating something, or just having a real conversation with a friend. These are the building blocks of a new reward pathway. Now, it's really important to know this rewiring process is a journey, and it's not always a straight line. The first couple of weeks can be rough. That's the withdrawal phase. Then, a lot of people hit what's called the flat line, where things just feel kind of dull for a while as your brain recalibrates. But if you can push through that, that's when the magic happens. You hit stabilization, your natural energy and focus come back, and eventually you achieve a total transformation.
So when you put this all together, where does it lead? What's the real end goal of getting a handle on all these internal forces?
It is so much more than just not doing something. Thinking about it as just stopping a behavior is a really limited and frankly uninspiring way to look at it. True recovery is about addition. It's about what you gain. It's about the presence of a new focus, of deeper relationships, of more creative energy. It's about becoming a more powerful and intentional version of yourself. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. When you're no longer being yanked around by your impulses, when you learn how to channel all that powerful internal energy toward things you actually care about, just imagine what you could achieve.